compliment them on a great day and a great drive. They were really good. There was a lot of
What?
Yeah, they don't want me to be a champion. They don't want it.
What do you
They don't want me to be a champion. Those were the words of Denny Hamlin, spoken on his own podcast, Actions Detrimental, just hours after he walked away from North Wilkesboro Speedway with a runner-up finish and the largest points lead in the Cup Series. Denny Hamlin has 4 wins this season. He holds a 68-point advantage over Tyler Reddick. He owns an average finish of 3. 64 on non-drafting oval tracks, a number nobody has matched since Richard Petty in 1977. And the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing just announced there is no longer a trophy for any of it. To understand why Denny Hamlin reached that boiling point, you have to start with the weekend itself. On July 19, the Window World 450 ran at North Wilkesboro Speedway, and it carried genuine historical weight. This was the first points-paying Cup Series race at the .625-mile short track since 1996. The facility was reintroduced to the sport in 2023 and spent the following 3 years hosting the All-Star Race, an exhibition event with no championship implications. This was the first time since the Clinton administration that championship points were actually on the line at the North Carolina Bullring. Joey Logano made it his night. The Team Penske driver led 323 of the 450 laps and never looked genuinely threatened over a full green flag run. The victory ended his longest winless stretch since May 2025. The official account of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing described the drought as 45 races long, and the win handed the number 22 team a substantial supply of momentum heading into the second half of an inconsistent campaign. Denny Hamlin finished second. That result stretched his championship lead to 68 points over Tyler Reddick, while Ryan Blaney sits third, 87 points behind. All 3 drivers have already clinched a place in the chase with 5 races remaining in the regular season. There is one detail from the weekend that makes the second-place run even more notable. Reporter Kelly Crandall noted that Denny Hamlin had been genuinely awful at North Wilkesboro Speedway in the previous year's All-Star race, and that he told the media center he had post-traumatic stress disorder coming into this event. He turned that into a runner-up finish and a bigger points lead. Now here's where the race becomes far more interesting than the statistics suggest, because both drivers went on record afterward with detailed and slightly conflicting accounts of what actually happened. Start with Joey Logano speaking on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio's Behind the Wheel with Joey Logano. The 3-time champion said he barely had to think about the number 11 car during the opening stages. "I knew we had a solid car the whole race," Joey Logano said, explaining that his crew chief kept him constantly updated on which cars were genuinely fast, and that the number 11 kept emerging as the closest competitor. Joey Logano was clear that the gap between them was never really about raw speed. At one point, Denny Hamlin fell roughly 4 seconds behind, and Joey Logano attributed that entirely to track position. Denny Hamlin had been stuck behind the number 77 car, which fired off extremely well and was among the quickest cars on the racetrack for the opening 5 to 8 laps of that run. By the time Denny Hamlin finally cleared him, his tires were worn and the deficit was already established. The decisive moment came on the final restart, which placed both drivers on the front row together. Joey Logano said the entire race came down to that single launch, that whoever secured the lead was going to win. He got a clean start, cleared the number 11 car, and then the race became a strategic exercise rather than a straight fight. Denny Hamlin attempted to bait him into overdriving the corners, while Joey Logano deliberately managed his pace. Eventually, he built a lead of roughly 1.5 seconds and simply held it there. The green flag pit cycle did not change the picture either. Denny Hamlin short pitted the leader by a full lap, and Joey Logano still emerged in front. The only genuine scare came late, when the leader caught one of the teammates of Denny Hamlin in traffic and had to move around the racetrack to complete the pass before stretching the gap once more. Now compare that to the version told by Denny Hamlin on Actions Detrimental, because the difference in how comfortable each man felt is remarkable. Denny Hamlin identified exactly one window where he believed the race was winnable. It came in the 10 laps immediately following the green flag pit stops when he found himself directly on the bumper of the number 22 car. He had a theory about why. Because the pit cycle happened under grain, the racetrack stayed rubbered in rather than being cleaned up during a caution period. And he believed the leader's car was not reacting the way it had on a cleaner surface earlier in the event. The problem was that he could not act on it. Denny Hamlin explained that pushing any harder in that moment would have left him with nothing once the leaders reached heavy traffic later in the run. So he held station and watched the gap grow in agonizing increments, saying the leader pull away by about 6 inches each lap. He gave full credit to the strategy call from crew chief Chris Gabehart, saying the team's short pitted deliberately to steal track position, and that if the number 22 car had stayed out one additional lap, the number 11 would have jumped ahead. That single lap was the entire margin between second place and a genuine shot at victory. But Denny Hamlin also delivered an assessment that most drivers avoid. I thought the 22 was just exceptional. It didn't seem like he was super line dependent, he said, noting that the winning car had enough grip to attack corners from multiple grooves. Joey was able to be really aggressive, especially on restarts with it, he added. And then came the concession, we were just second best. He also admitted the win was never realistically available through speed alone. I thought if we were going to win, we were going to have to steal it, Denny Hamlin said, adding that it would have required the leader getting trapped in traffic or something similarly unpredictable. Here is the tension worth noticing. Both men agree on the mechanism that track position decided the outcome, but they completely disagree on how close it was. Joey Logano describes a controlled, comfortable evening. Denny Hamlin describes being one pit call away from flipping the result. Both accounts come from drivers who were in the cars. What makes the finish genuinely unusual is who was involved. Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano have a history that includes a physical scuffle at Bristol Motor Speedway in 2013 and memorable post-race mockery at Martinsville Speedway in 2019. These are former teammates with a long catalog of flashpoints. North Wilkesboro Speedway produced the opposite. After an extended celebration, Denny Hamlin went looking for Joey Logano on pit road, and the two exchanged a handshake and a thumbs up. There were no theatrics. Just wildly impressive, Denny Hamlin said afterward, praising how the winner maneuvered through traffic and did everything the garage expects him to do. Joey Logano returned the compliment, admitting his own vulnerability. The last run was definitely tougher, he said. I ran harder than I wanted to early in the run when Denny was putting the pressure on us, acknowledging that short runs were his weakness and that the number 11 car got to him. For context, this was only the 6th occasion these two drivers have finished first and second in a Cup Series race, and they own 3 victories apiece in those meetings. Denny Hamlin summarized the night himself on social media with 4 words: that's just short track racing. This is not a rivalry that died. This is 2 drivers deep into their careers who no longer need to prove anything to one another. Which brings us to the decision that actually detonated the week. The National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing has fundamentally rebuilt its championship system. The elimination-style playoff format is being scrapped and replaced with a structure resembling the former chase system. The champion will now be decided across the final 10 races on cumulative points, with the title settled at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Playoff points earned through race wins and stage victories are being eliminated entirely. In their place, individual race wins carry substantially more weight. A race winner will collect 55 points, and a driver who sweeps both stages and wins the race can bank a maximum of 76 points. The top 16 drivers still qualify for the postseason, but they will begin with staggered totals. The regular season leader starts on 2,100 points, which is only 25 points clear of the rest of the playoff field. And the piece that stung the most, the regular season championship has been abolished. There is no trophy and no official recognition for leading the standings across the opening 26 races. Denny Hamlin learned this while sitting on the largest regular season lead of his career, on Action's Detrimental, alongside co-host Jared. He said the sanctioning body had confirmed the removal in the press release announcing the new format. "It's incredible. The one time you win the regular season, they get rid of it," Denny Hamlin said. His co-host was even blunter, calling it the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Look at the arithmetic. A 68-point lead becomes a 25-point lead the moment the postseason begins. Roughly two-thirds of everything Denny Hamlin has built across 21 race weekends evaporates in a single reset. The change has split opinion across the garage. Critics argue it devalues 26 races of consistency, rewarding drivers who peak late over drivers who perform all year. Supporters counter that a 10-race cumulative points battle produces a tighter and more watchable title fight than a single winner-take-all finale. So is Denny Hamlin still the favorite? The case in his favor is substantial. He has 4 victories beginning at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in March, followed by 3 consecutive wins at Nashville Superspeedway, Michigan International Speedway, and Pocono Raceway. His 3.64 average finish on non-drafting ovals matches a level of consistency the sport has not seen since Richard Petty in 1977, and he still has 5 races to build further before the reset. If we can keep this momentum going and avoid bad luck, I think it'll be hard for the field to catch us, Denny Hamlin said. The case against is equally real. The reset removes most of the cushion, and the new structure rewards raw win count, which is precisely the scenario where a hot streak from a driver like Joey Logano becomes dangerous. Hanging over all of it is the fact that Denny Hamlin is in his 21st full-time season and still has no championship. There has also been reporting suggesting 2027 may be his final year, depending on how things develop at Joe Gibbs Racing, though that should be treated as speculation rather than anything confirmed. One question remains from the weekend itself. Does North Wilkesboro Speedway stay on the calendar? The 2027 schedule is unresolved, and the track's status is genuinely unknown. Denny Hamlin would not commit on whether it should host a points race or return to all-star duty, but he was clear about the broader point. "I don't know. I'm for a race at North Wilkesboro. How about that? That's where I'll stand on it," he said. His technical assessment was more revealing. "It's a racy track. It reminds me a lot of Bristol," Denny Hamlin said, comparing it directly to Bristol Motor Speedway after the reconcreting, the variable banking, and the grinding that transformed it from a single groove circuit. Then he raised the split that nobody talks about. Drivers loved multi-groove Bristol Motor Speedway. "This is freaking awesome," was the reaction inside the cars, because every lane ran the same speed, meaning a faster driver could simply move to a different groove. Fans hated it, and that is precisely why the top of the racetrack was eventually ground down to force cars back to the bottom. His warning was direct. Narrowing North Wilkesboro Speedway would make passing extremely difficult. More room means more options, and more options means less contact. So here is where it lands. The finest statistical season of the career of Denny Hamlin is unfolding in the exact year the sport eliminated the reward for it and shrank his advantage from 68 points down to 25. Should the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing have kept the regular season championship, or does a 10 race points battle genuinely produce a better title fight? Make your argument in the comments.